Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today you are joining me in my Porsche Macan S. This is still the current car. I haven't taken delivery of the new one that is still on order, but yeah, I'll give you a little bit of an update as to where we are in that process when we're driving this anyway. So in this vid today, I'm going to be giving you my 6-month ownership review because I've had the car for that long, and what things that I found really great with this car, which is why I'm ordering the new one, and things where I kind of think, you know, this car's a little bit clumsy and I'm hoping that the new one will hopefully address that. So yeah, what we'll do now is go onto those country lanes and drive this car. And for those of you that are new to the channel, I'll give you a quick overview of this car anyway, as to what my 2018 model year car looks like. So for those that are new to the channel, this is my 2018 model year Porsche Macan S. It's finished off in the jet black metallic paintwork, and it's sitting on the 20-inch RS Spider alloy wheels. I think it looks quite striking from the front end, and pretty much whichever angle you kind of look at it from, I think it's quite a nice SUV. If we move on to the interior of the car, it's finished off with a two-tone leather interior, the black and the red with some red stitching. I think the combination looks really good. This car's engine powertrain is the 3-litre twin-turbo V6 engine, producing 340 horsepower and about 460 newton meters of torque. So I think that was quite a quick walk around of the car. I think it'd be rude not to give it a start up and some revs as well, seeing as we're in this kind of dead car park. So yeah, let's just do that now for you guys and let me know what you think of the sound that this car makes. So I think it makes a decent sound for the type of car it is. It is a Porsche SUV, so you do expect it to make some noise. But yeah, we're going to hit those country lanes and I'll give you my ownership review of what this car has been like. So some of you will already know that I placed an order for the brand new 2022 Porsche Macan S. I'm really looking forward to taking delivery of that. It's been about, I'd say, 6 to 7 weeks since I've actually placed the deposit and configured the car. I'm still waiting on a build slot. There's obviously been issues around Germany with like the flooding, as well as, you know, the semiconductor microchips and whatnot throughout the world, with shortages around that. And the flooding in Germany has affected the build dates because of parts that, you know, are not available for certain models. So yeah, it's probably going to be a bit of a waiting game, but I have been assured by my dealership where I've placed the order that it should arrive by the end of the year or early next. I'm not in any hurry, to be honest with you, so I'm just gonna, you know, allow it to take its time. So as we're doing a 6-month review on this car, and if, you know, some of you guys out there might be looking to purchase one of these cars, then let me just tell you what I found about owning this Porsche Macan over the last sort of 6 months. I can't really knock it for the performance. I think it does perform quite well. The 3-litre V6 engine in this, the twin turbo unit, although it's a little bit archaic now because it's been around for quite a while, and it's in the facelift, I think in the Macan S it's a 3-litre twin scroll single turbo unit, and I think they've just improved certain things like emissions and whatnot. I've not really driven one of those cars, so I can't really see how that compares to this, but this car has got quite a nice amount of performance when you're just like pootling around. It's not the most efficient car, I'll be honest. A full tank on this has got the extended tank size as well, so 75 litres. It's going to probably cost you near on £100 to fill it up, and it's going to give you a combined range pretty much as to what I've got here of around 300 miles. So it's not the most efficient car that, you know, if you're thinking about buying, or, you know, it's a 3-litre and whatnot, it's gonna probably, you know, hurt your wallet a little bit, you know, if you're not used to that type of economy. At best you're gonna get like about 20 to 25 mpg, and on the motorway it doesn't really get any better either. But at the end of the day, it's a choice thing. You're buying this car for obviously the performance, you're buying this car for, you know, the brand as well, and that's exactly why I bought this car. Things that will potentially break on this car, the only main issue I've had with this is a known issue, and that is the transfer box. No quibble, fixed under warranty, and most of them will come with like a 7-year warranty on that part as well. I've done individual videos on, like, say, certain parts of this car as well, so you know, feel free to check out my playlist. As we're on the drive and we're on these country lanes, this car really comes alive. It's to a point I really don't understand how this car performs so well. It handles like a sports car. I mean, you can really throw it through corners, and you know, yes, there'll be body roll, but it stays fairly flat throughout. The steering is really nice. It's electric power steering, but the feedback that you get when you're just going around corners and whatnot is, you know, it's really good. It really puts my M4 to shame. The M4 has quite a dull steering feel. This certainly doesn't. You really understand what's going on between the steering and the wheels in this car. The PDK gearbox, this is the only gearbox option that you get with the Macans, and even on the latest generation Macans, they're going to come with the PDK gearbox. And again, you know, Porsche could have just thrown in the ZF gearbox in this, but they thought, no, we're gonna stick in the 7-speed dual clutch PDK gearbox. And again, it's really nice to have that in this car because it gives you a real nice drive. It makes the drive of this car more engaging because the gearbox, the shift points when you're manually shifting, it's super smooth, and on top of that, it's really quick as well. It's pretty much on par with, like, say, the DCT gearbox in my M4. The gear ratios are really optimized just so that you're always in the power band as well, and also the shift points when you're shifting, you do get that kind of an upshift pop from the exhaust, which is, again, you know, quite a nice feature to have in such a car. Another thing I find is the ride in this. This doesn't have the PASM system, which is the adaptive suspension for, you know, Porsches. It rides fine on the steel dampers. I do find that with the PASM it would be a sublime ride, and that is something that the new car will come with. So I'm going to put the car into its Sports Plus because it's got the chrono package. Put the car into its manual mode. There you go, you get that little pop from the exhaust, and everything just sharpens up. The throttle response becomes more responsive, the engine as well. It doesn't really feel like you're driving like a near-on 2-ton vehicle. The only modification that I've done to this car is I've installed a pedal commander, and what that essentially does is that it makes the throttle a bit more responsive in normal drive mode. That was my only concern about this particular car, and it's probably going to be the same on the new models as well. In comfort mode, the throttle pedal is really heavy, so you got to put in, like, say, I don't know, 40% effort to get the car moving, whereas now it's like, it just feels more natural. This car, from a comfort point, I really can't knock it. I recently spent 1,000 miles around the UK driving this car. I must say, every 200 or 300 miles that I was driving this car and I was jumping out of it, I wasn't feeling tired. I wasn't feeling like, you know, it was a draining drive. And to be honest with you, I was just cruising at motorway speeds. I wasn't like I was gunning it or anything like that. And I was holding a conversation. I had the radio on, I had the roof open, and you know what? It was so sublime that it just makes this like a perfect car to do like a road trip in. And there's been a few road trips that I've done in this car now, and each one has been quite a joy. It's not as fast as, like, say, my M4, I'll be honest, because the M4 is like a pretty much an out and out kind of sports car, whereas this is more of a, you know, it is essentially an SUV, but I kind of think that it's more of a luxury sports SUV. In the way this thing just picks up pace. I mean, right in front of me right now is a Range Rover Sport. I don't think that's as sporty as this to drive. I know it's a bigger car, but it's not as sporty as this to drive. I can just see how much body roll there is in that car, and yet on this one it just feels so planted. on the whole, I'm really impressed with the way this car has performed over my last 6 months worth of ownership, which is the reason why I've gone and placed the order for the brand new Macan S, the 2022 model year one. Some of the things that I did find quite annoying with this car, bear in mind I did trade in the brand new 3 Series, which was a little bit more of a tech fest compared to this. The infotainment system is a little bit archaic in this, again quite small, and also the plethora of buttons down here. I kind of think that Porsche with the Gen 2 and now the Gen 3 that they've just released, they've really addressed those issues. It's got a bigger sort of touch screen, and also the center console here looks a little bit more upmarket for something that you'd expect from this kind of price point now anyway. So if you are thinking about buying a Porsche Macan of this generation, then I really don't think that you'll be disappointed. It does perform really well, there's loads of comfort, and the space in the car is quite adequate as well. If fuel economy is, you know, quite high up on your priority list, then I'd say go and buy the diesel. But personally, I kind of think with the diesel, which I have had on the channel as well, you don't really get this level of enjoyment when you're driving it. The diesel performs really well. It's, you know, it's a strong engine, but it's a diesel, so you don't really get like the sound like the way you'd get in the petrol versions, and as well as like the high revving nature as well. So that's something just to bear in mind. Overall, like I say, I've been impressed with this car since I've owned it, and you know, I'm really looking forward to getting the new one in due course. I really hope that you have enjoyed this vid, giving you an insight as to what it's like owning one of these cars over the last sort of 6 months. If you have, give it a like, share, subscribe to the channel, because there'll be more content coming out on the new car when it arrives, and obviously content on my other cars, as well as, you know, cars that I usually get my hands on. Hopefully guys, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, bye.